Hi, Dream Team. It's Daria Nettleton, and I am in day 2 of our Team Unity project. So today is three vital behaviors, three vital behaviors, and how I'm doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm a sharer, so I'm going to share and show you how I actually do my three vital behaviors. I'll talk to you real quickly that I do, at the bare minimum every day, that's what I do. I do my three vital behaviors. Definitely product of the product. Make sure that I get my invites out there, whether it's a direct invite or I'm reaching out to people, and then my personal development. And I will say that getting the personal development in for me probably is the hardest. I have to be most disciplined about that because I'm not a book reader. So a lot of times what I do is podcasts, or I'll do audiobooks. So those are like my favorite, podcasts and audiobooks. As much as I love to crack a book, it's just not in the cards for me. So I may have said it before, I've got a couple of kids and I also have horses and dogs and everything. So if I'm doing something like mucking manure, I'm putting my headphones on and I'm listening to the Wake Up Call. I'm listening to the Chalene Show. I may listen to a book. I mean, the most recent audiobook I read, it was David Ramsey. It was Entree Leadership. Loved this book. This was really great because I really made sure that I treat my business like a business, and this really kind of reinforced it for me. I can't find this book on audio, but I really want to. This is Jab, Jab, Right Hook, and I actually won it for a Success Club prize, and it's collecting dust. I really need to read this book because I am a social media freak. I love social media. And I know that this would really help me. So maybe this will be my encouragement to actually read it. But man, I suck at reading books. It puts me to sleep. I don't know why. I just can't do it. So I'm gonna try. I guess I could do my 10 pages a day, right? So for personal development, though, I truly rely on things like podcasts, like the Chalene Show. I love Chalene, and then I can actually like pick things that speak to me, and I can listen to them while I'm, doing laundry or I'm doing horse chores or whatever it is that I'm doing, so that I'm actually getting it in there, because that definitely changes my whole mood and everything. If anything helps give me that shot in the arm, it's that, because I can always push myself to get my workout in. I can't, if I start slacking on my personal development, then I can tell, like, my motivation, everything starts to go downhill. My whole view of everything starts to shift, really to a more negative view, as opposed to, finding solutions. I'm, wallowing in my bullshit, basically. So in any event, those, basically, in terms of my personal development. So let me see if I can share my screen, which is something I like to do. Here's my desktop. All right. So this is my Instagram. My eyes pop open in the morning and I am on Instagram. I definitely want to make sure, like with my Instagram, that I am posting at certain times. That's the thing about Instagram. I love Instagram. So Instagram speaks to me and I really, really enjoy it. So I really have to tell you that don't use social media that you don't enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, it shows. I definitely post things to Tumblr, and I have other accounts like Twitter, but I'm not a good person on Twitter. I don't know how to tweet. I'm not regular in the tweeting. So it's out there, but I don't know that it's probably not really doing what it should be doing. The same thing with Tumblr. I don't understand the world of Tumblr. I do understand Instagram. I love my blog, although I need to blog more. And Pinterest. I definitely do pinning on Pinterest, and I have a likes page. But in any event, it's a lot of stuff, right? So what do I do? How am I incorporating three vitals into this? So as I scroll up, I make sure that I have my header has something catchy, and I make sure that it points to my blog, because I want people to go to my blog to learn more about me if they like my pictures. So that's like where I catch. I used to try to catch people on Facebook, but I'd rather kind of point them to my blog and then catch them to Facebook, because Facebook to me is a little bit weird. But in any event, so as you can see here, like, I post my accountability here. I post something inspirational. I'll post my workouts. I'll post things that I'm doing, like what I'm eating. I'll share recipes. I do, I do put stuff with my dogs and my horses because that's stuff that's about me. And, I catch a different audience, but it always has that, like, it's always my business fitness stuff going on here on my Instagram. So just, first thing in the morning I usually do is do something inspirational, and it's usually something that I try to create on my own. I'll get inspiration through Pinterest, but I will try to recreate my own thing as opposed to taking a picture from Pinterest, because I want it to be uniquely me and I'm trying to brand. For my Facebook, so I have a likes page and I have a regular Facebook page. So I also try to incorporate what I post on Instagram. I'll try to post here as well. But I try to do, as you can see, this is a repeat. This is something from Instagram. I didn't post to my personal page, but I did post here to my likes page. And then I try to do recipes and things like that so that I'm sharing. I talk about my Shakeology. If I have a new Shakeology flavor, I've used something like this on Instagram and I will put it on my likes page because I'm trying to share things that are valuable so that I get more likes. So those, what things that I'm eating. This is something from my blog that I'm posting here on my likes page. So I'm kind of like integrating all these things, the recipes and the clean eating and things that are, that I think that are important. And even like posts like this, just talking about how my struggle, right? So I am currently doing hammer and chisel, and it's been a odyssey for me, as well as I've done Body Beast. So I did Body Beast before hammer and chisel, and I put on a good 10 pounds with Body Beast, and now I put on a good 5 pounds with hammer and chisel. And it's sort of like messing with my head, but I know that I gained muscle because I did use our performance products. I used the creatine, and I used the Recover, and I used Repair at night. And when I do a program, I do the program. When I do the program, like, I really do the program. And if I'm going to use the supplements, I really use the supplements because I want to be able to review them and really tell people my honest opinion about them. So that, even if I'm struggling and I'm not feeling it, then I still put it out there. I want to put it out there in some way. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days to kind of form how I'm going to share that, but it's me being honest. And yes, I swear. I'm a swearer. I know not everybody's a swearer, but I'm a swearer, so I say swears. So but that's who I am. If I pretended I wasn't a swearer, then it wouldn't be me. And people, that's the hardest thing. I've definitely become, at times, when you get tired, you become this like Beachbody automaton, right? And I'm trying to get back to my page, where you're posting to post, right? You're sort of like this glossy person that you're not, right? So this is my personal Facebook page. So I do post things about my niece. I do post things about, what I'm doing. I also post things about what I'm eating and stuff, but I try to be myself, and not be somebody else. As you can see, this is a swear. So if you're hard with swears, then you're not going to want to look at my page. And I used to not do that, but you know what? I say the F word. I am a swearer. I'm a professional, but I also, part of who I am is I do use curse words. So it's, I'm not for everybody, right? So, but that's who, I can relate to people who swear. So that's who I attract. So I put it out there. So in terms of my 3 vitals, the motocross and everything. So I'm just kind of showing you, these are the how I post, So if I'm eating stuff during the day and what am I doing, because I know I have my challenge groups and I want to make sure that I'm sharing with them too. So I share in my challenge group pages, but then I also share outside of my pages so that I'm showing people what I'm doing, because then maybe if they're trying this program, they might want to try it with me, and again, it's more accountability. I talked about my blog. So, this is my blog. And on my blog, as you can see, I try to make sure that I'm posting and inviting. So you see the 3 vitals are everywhere, right? So I'm inviting, even on my blog page, even though I'm not on my page, I still make sure that I have my Fit for February, or I have my coaching opportunity. And then I'll put something in, I have all these blog posts about what I'm cooking and what I'm doing. And then progress is not perfection, right? So I talk about that. And usually at the bottom of every one of these, I put an application, because I'm inviting on my blog. So this is how I kind of like use my social media, and I post everything together because I want to make sure that there's a call to action at the end of every blog post, right? At the end of everything, that I'm saying either contact me, like this picture, and I'll reach out to you, or I'll stick these applications at the end of my blog post. Pretty much every blog post of mine has an application at the end. If it's not a recipe or something like that. I try to make sure that I'm inviting, or that I have a place for them to go, or I'm teaching them something, or I'm providing some kind of value, right? So I'm not trying to freak out here. So then here is my Pinterest page, right? So from my blog, I'll show you, you see there's a pin it on every photo, right? So I can hit the pin it, and I can pin this picture to my Pinterest board. And then it'll go back to my blog if somebody were to click on it. So I have a couple different boards. I have my Fitmission board. I have my Beachbody Challenge groups board. I mean, any photo that I've ever posted, usually it corresponds to either, it could go to my Facebook, or it could go to my blog, but I want them to be able to find more information, right? So, whether it's past challenge groups or anything else, they'll be able to find me. So that's how I want social media to work for me. And also just trying to make sure I'm putting original content out there and being myself. So a lot of this, a lot of the posting and a lot of the, the workouts and everything else, I've had coaches that joined and it just became too much for them. It started to cave in on them, essentially. I'm going to stop the share. They get overwhelmed because they see all these things that I'm doing, and they're thinking, I have to have a blog, and I have to be on Pinterest, and I've got to do Instagram, and maybe I got to do Facebook. And I try to tell them, no, you don't. You don't have to. Like, you need to focus on a couple of things, and the things that you enjoy doing, and work on those and build those. And you will be able to build following from those places. It doesn't happen overnight. I don't, if I showed you my Instagram I don't have 1,000 followers. I have like, I'm close to 600, right? So, but I work for every single one of those people. Like, I do that organically. I could delegate and have somebody get me followers. I don't want that though, because I want genuine followers that really are interested in my board because they like me and because I've liked them back, and not because there's some robot or auto ad or, whatever the hell it is. I sincerely try to build that organically on my own. And then I try to build, my blog too. And there's a million ways of skinning the cat there, but that's something that means something to me. I want to build my blog up more because I feel like people really learn about you, and they kind of want to research, and they want to check you out and see what you're about and see what your content is. So I try to make sure, one of my goals for this year is to make sure I'm doing a blog post a week. So I want to continue to build that blog up, because to me that builds credibility, because I know when I was looking for a coach, I took a look at, all right, what's in their blog? What are they posting? Do they have content? I was interested in those things, because if they didn't have those things, then to me, they weren't really interested, in what they were doing. So I am interested. I do, all the programs that I do, I try to do some kind of review of that so that I have something more to share, I do enjoy doing it. So I am a product of the product. I do believe in the products that I use, and the products that I don't like, I'll be honest if I tell you I don't like them. And I think that is what would attract people to me, because I'm no bullshit. So hopefully you learned a little something, or maybe it relieves some anxiety, or, it's like I kind of I don't work on all these things all the time. It's sort of an ebb and a flow. There's some things that I do better at and some that I don't. And I build things, and I decide like when I'm going to build things up better, like my Pinterest board, or, if I'm going to do more, figure out what kind of content for my likes page, or where should I be focusing on more. And I don't really stress about it. I just make sure that I'm sharing, I'm inviting, I'm getting my workout in, and I'm, trying to make sure that every day I get some kind of personal development in, because that definitely is the glue that kind of holds everything together for me, because then I don't become as overwhelmed. I can deal with it. It does give me amazing idea for content. Each thing that I learn, I try to share. So it's always been about sharing for me and not selling. And that's, kind of been my success. So I hope you learned something, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.